Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Minnesota Twins game review. What a game that was, again, not for the right result. Now we are facing a possible 3-game losing streak for the first time this season. Obviously, we've been in this situation before. We are 4-0 after losing 2 games. But with Pineda on the mound, who really knows? He's been doing great so far in his last 4 games, but granted, he's still Michael Pineda. So, who really knows what's going to happen tonight? I wish him the best. We'll talk about it a little bit, but let's talk about this game. So, this is a very different outcome. The same outcome, a very different situation for the last 2 losses. Obviously, last night, we did not score. We're not going to win a game. We gave up 7 hits and 2 runs. We only hit the ball 5 times. Not too great. So, like I said, we are possibly facing a 3-loss streak for the first time this year. Hopefully, we can get past that. But talk about this game. We lost this game in the first inning. And as bad as that sounds, realistically, it's true. Because we did not score a run. We gave up a run in the first 3 batters of the game. But then Berrios shut him down from there. And I think he retired 19 straight at one point. Like, what can you do about that? We'll talk about the rest of the game, though. Just a frustrating game for the most part. I mean, what do you guys think? Obviously, I want to know your opinions about this game in general, but what do you guys think about this game compared to Sunday's game? I find this game not as frustrating. Obviously, we want to hit the ball. It's going to happen where we just don't hit any home runs. We miss a home run by a couple of feet. We can't get a couple of guys in. We strike out too many times. Obviously, that's going to happen in baseball. We've had a couple of these games this year. Houston, this game. It happens. We just don't hit the ball. But yesterday, or Sunday's game, rather, what do you guys think about that game? I think that's an even worser loss because we left 15 men on base. We had the bases loaded, 3 times and didn't score. So I think that's a worser loss than this one. This one just happens sometimes. Unfortunately, it's Berrios, and it seems as if he's the only guy who can't really get run support. Perez has had that problem as of lately too, but what can you do? So let's talk about Berrios. The game was lost in the first inning. He gave up 1 earned run, and it was in the first 3 batters of the game, 3 singles to lead off the game. We were down 1-0, and that was it. That was all they scored off Berrios, and we lost. That sucks. I mean, that just tells you how, good Berrios is. And he gives up 1 bad pitch a game. Have you noticed that? 1 bad pitch a game. Just happened to be 3 good hits instead of really 1 bad pitch. 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. And he gets the loss. No walks. That is a day for him right there. That is impressive. Obviously, Parker came in the 8th or the 9th, excuse me, and he gave up a hit in 2 hits and a run. But the game was over at that point. It didn't really matter. Obviously, it would have made the comeback a little bit easier. 1 would tie it instead of 1 would just, cut the deficit in half. But regardless, we took the loss last night. And realistically, I mean, if you want to look at runners in scoring position and left on base, we were 0 for 5. Couple of big spots that we just couldn't hit, and then we left 7 guys on base, but still not as bad as 15. I mean, this night is bound to happen, right? So that's really all I got to say about the pitching. I could tell you, Berrios, like I said, retired 19 straight after that first inning and those 3 hits, 10 strikeouts. Every single one of his pitches were working last night, especially the high fastball. That was awesome. He's got a 96 mile an hour fastball up at the letters. It's not touchable. That's how I want to see Pineda pitch. However, Pineda only throws 92 to 93, 94. Granted, it's only 1 mile an hour difference, but that could change a lot, especially if they're going up there expecting the high fastball now. That's something that Pineda's really going to have to work on and try to get going early in the game tonight. Otherwise, it could be bad. But then Parker, he gave 1 bad fastball right over the middle of the plate. Bogarts put it in the other field, and that scored the 2nd run of the game. And, of course, you just got to tip your hat there and say, hey, you beat us 2-0. I believe this is only the 2nd time we've been shut out this year, maybe the 3rd. I guess I could go look, but realistically, what does it matter? the point is we lost. The better thing is, before we get into hitting, Cleveland lost as well. So the magic number is 82. That's still a little high, obviously, but, we're playing our worst baseball right now. Cleveland is 9-5 in June, and they've only picked up half a game on us in the standings in June. So that's crazy. I mean, we are on June 18th. Happy birthday to my sister, by the way. But we are on June 18th, and they have picked up half a game in the standings, and they are 9-5. They were 9-4 coming into last night's game. So that's good that we're playing basically our worst baseball in these last 2 weeks of the season because we've had such a good April and May. But realistically, the worst 2 weeks of the season, and we're still, what are we? I don't know what we are in June, but we got to be close to 9-5 as well then if Cleveland is the same and hasn't picked up much of a game. So let's talk about hitting. What a tough night. I mean, for the plate, realistically, we had a chance a couple of times, but you can't blame it on the one chance that we didn't get when, we could have scored. I mean, we did good in the field. I mean, Marwin Gonzalez made a beautiful play out in right field, because Kepler was in center, and we'll talk about that in a second. So realistically, I mean, we did have chances, but also with Buxton not playing. Is Buxton hurt? I haven't seen anything, but he hasn't played in the last 3 games? Is that right? So I don't know what's going on with Buxton. This is where I would have put Buxton in. Scope is at third base. Obviously, I don't know what inning was it? It was second and third. Cruz dribbles the ball back to the pitcher. It was a tougher play, throws it home. Scope turns around and goes back to third. That was really frustrating. Honestly, I know he probably would have been out anyways, but what does it do to just run back to third base? He's not that fast. So he would have just ran back to third base instead of the guys advancing. Now you've got runners on, first and second, I think, still. Or regardless, if he tries to score, he might get in there instead of just giving himself up. That's a situation where if we would have had Buxton, I don't know why Adrianza wasn't pinch running there. I mean, I guess I really don't remember the entire situation, but those are the situations where you have a guy like Adrianza or Buxton to come off the bench who can play, positions, right? You put Buxton in center, you move Kepler back to right. Gonzalez could play second base, or you shift around the infield a little bit. Or you bring in Adrianza plays second base. It's just that kind of thing. It's just, Scope, we know that Scope isn't the fastest. And obviously, if he gets in there and he's safe, great. Somebody else could probably get in there and be safe too. Or Cruz could just hit the ball a little harder. A lot of different situations there that could have happened and changed the game. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Again, with Crone, I mentioned it earlier, almost hit a home run off the top of the wall, the deepest part of the park on the high wall. That's literally as far as you could hit a ball and it not go out. And again, that just changes the game. So instead of a home run, he gets a double and gets stranded on, second base, third base with Castro's pop-up. So, I mean, what can you do? It's just 2 times in the game where we had a chance to score and we didn't. And it happens. So, Kepler 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Polanco 1 for 3 tonight. He's got, 31 games now in a row with a on-base streak. Good for him. Cruz went 1 for 4 with a double. Good hit by him, but he didn't get it when he needed it, which is the second time now in 2 days when he's come up. I mean, you could talk about everybody coming up with a situation yesterday and not getting a hit, but last night the bases loaded, or runners on first and second or wherever, second and third, he struck out. But regardless, Rosario 0 for 4. He's been going into that slump again for a while. Hits a home run, 3 home runs in a week, goes on a slump for a week, comes back, hits 5 home runs, then now he's back in the slump, but still, he's doing fine. Just got to get him a couple more home runs again, and he'll go off once he does that. Crone went 2 for 4, had the best night of any Twin. Like I said, inches away from the home run, feet away from the home run. Gonzalez 0 for 4. Sano struck out twice, walked once, and went 0 for 3. I tell you what, I don't know what to do with the guy anymore. I just think he's not going to cut it. I can't. I can't have him strike out all the time. Not getting, I mean, he's so streaky too. It's like he'll get a double and a home run, and then he'll strike out 4 times in the next game. I mean, he's not consistent. If he was more consistent, I wouldn't be, upset with him as much. But he's just so inconsistent, and there's no way to tell whether he's going to do good on a night or not. And with the, 3 errors that he had the other night, didn't help it. I just don't know what to do with him. I say we got to trade him, but you know what? Who really knows at this point what we're going to do? We need a lot of help at the pitching, so do we want to get rid of a good position player for him? I don't know. Castro 0 for 3 and Scope 1 for 3. Scope has really been doing well as of late. He's gotten hot in the last couple of weeks, last week or so, in the 9th hitter. I like him there. I kind of do like him at the bottom of the lineup, even though, Buxton, again, think of the same situation. If Buxton would have done the same thing, would have been on 30, probably scores, but I just don't know if Buxton's hurt or not. I haven't seen anything, but I kind of do like Scope in the 9th spot. Put Buxton at the top of the lineup, maybe. I don't know, but regardless, we take the loss. We move on. Hopefully, Pineda can pitch well, and we avoid the 3rd loss in a row. That's the biggest thing tonight that we just got to hope for, and, then we move on, and regardless of what happens tonight, we try to get 1 game from Boston tomorrow if we can't get the win tonight. Otherwise, we can try to take the series, So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching so much. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time for the game review. Peace out.